Dear ladies and gentlemen, warm welcome in this seminar in which our intern, Miss Hoa Hoang.
Mrs. Okay, at least.
Hoa Hoang is gonna present her, gonna share her experience in SSB, what she has done in SSB for during May 24 to July 25. And let me talk about a few lines about Miss Hoa. She is a PhD student in the University of Missouri, Columbia, and expecting to complete her PhD in 2014. And she has done her master's degree in social and applied economics in 2009. And with this field, I'd like to invite Ms. Hoa to please deliver your presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you everyone for coming, and I'm really glad to be here today. And I feel always so excited to talk after my internship at IRRI because I've learned a lot, like I did last year. And this year I'm very happy to be able to come back. And I want to express my gratitude for all of you for your support and to make this this experience very interesting and very meaningful to me. And about this slide, it is all the trips that I made for this summer. I've been to Thailand and Indonesia. I've been to Indonesia twice, and I always go back to Los Baños from Indonesia. So I will talk about it in a few minutes. Yeah, this is what Motadat just mentioned, and I'm married. I've been married for 2 years, and my hometown is in Hanoi. Actually, this is my town because when I got married, I moved to live with my parents-in-law. So this is my new hometown. And I think most of you know that I've been here. This is my second time. So for the first part, I would like to talk about travel. This is my experience on traveling, and I think this part is as important as research, and I will tell you why. I think most of you know this very famous scientist in SSD. So I think one day that I met him and he said, "Oh, get out of your office." So what does it mean? Anybody can give me a hint? What did he mean when he say, "Does he want to kick me out of SSD?" What did he say when
Go to the field. Go to the field. Go to the director.
Yeah, he always wants us to travel more, and I think I very appreciate that advice. I like traveling, but I told him that I don't have money. So what can I do? Yeah, I want to travel. I want to go more. And actually, yeah, part of my internship, I don't have money for travel. So he advised me to apply for this scholarship. It is a travel grant from the U.S., the Asian Rights Foundation USA. And I applied in June this year. And actually, the announcement only come by August this year. But I was so lucky because when I was in Indonesia and I heard that I got the scholarship, the travel grant. And anyway, that I'm very determined to go and travel. And I think travel is very helpful for us to know more about people and build a network. And that is also the goal that I told them that I want to build to expand the network of rice researchers in Thailand and Indonesia for this summer. So this is my trip to Indonesia, and I think I would like to share with you one thing. It's very important when you travel and you think that you know anyone and you haven't been there before, and so a lot of things you don't know what to do. So what we're gonna do? And I contact my advisor, as it is Dr. William Myers. He knows very well-known professor at Bogor University, Bogor Agricultural University. So I met him in Bogor, and he's so kind, and he helped me to sneak in Bappenas. I mean, I met with one officer in Bappenas, the National Development Planning Agency, And I went to Bureau of Statistics, and now I'm contacting them to have the Indonesian household survey data. And also I went to the Ministry of Agriculture. So we told now that it's so, it is very wonderful, because I haven't thought that I would be able to get in these offices in Indonesia, and met with a lot of scientists and researchers there. And also this guy, he's my colleague. And someday that I was so frustrated because I still didn't have any contact in Indonesia, and I just stopped by Harun's office, and I asked him, do you know anyone in IRRI from Indonesia? And he said that I know one girl, I know her name is Nurul, but I don't know any other information from her. So what we gonna do? So we think that I should contact the training center for Nurul. Then I met Nurul, and she introduced me to IRRI, the girl in pink. This is, we took picture with two other IRRI officers in IRRI office in Bogor. So IRRI also helped me to find very good place and cheap to stay. It's in the guest house of the Ministry of Agriculture. And I got to know this couple. The husband is the guest house keeper. And so one thing that I have dinner with them, I asked them I will have dinner with them before I leave. And this is a very poor family. And when I ate the rice, I realized that this is so good. This is what I didn't have before since I came to IRRI. And so it came to me, this is my first thought, there should be something wrong with IRRI's rice. I don't know any of you agree with it, but this is what I think is very fun to think about. We should think like why, because we don't compare with Thailand, or we don't compare with Vietnam because they are rice exporters. We are comparing with Indonesia, and they are also a very big rice importer. And this rice I ate with them. It's the cheapest one from the market, but it's much better. And we are eating it here, so I think it's something I realized if I didn't go there, I will never know. And it is a trip that I made to Sukamandi, my second time to Indonesia. And you know the guy in blue? I think a lot of you know him. Yeah, this is Dr. Glenn from
TBG.
Yeah, BBGB. Yeah, I didn't know him since I got there, and we just happened to sit in the same van going to this conference. And so he offered me a free course of breeding, and I joined him to the field, and this is a stricken rice field in some part of Sukamandi. Yes, I think I love from him because he's very fascinated, he's very passionate about what he's doing. And he talked to me like breeding is like it's like matchmaking, yeah, and then how we can make a better rice, and we can make drought tolerance and heat tolerance, and then even in his presentation he said that we can make all-in-one rice. And so this is the wonder of technology. But somehow I also learned from him that it is a drought-stricken rice fields in Sukamandi, but also some part of it also suffers from salinity and submersion at one time. So this is what we have to think more about technology, and also I learned that a lot of research, and it looks very good. I mean on paper, but when we bring it into the field, that it fails. So this brings me to the second thought that from research to reality, there's a big gap. And so this shocked me a lot, and I don't have the answer yet. So maybe some of you might help me to answer, how can we bring the gap between research and reality? How can we make it more meaningful and helpful to farmers? And this is my trip to Thailand. Yes, this is all about the connection that I got. I just happened to talk with Justin in SSD. He knows Adam, and he knows Adam is in Thailand, in central Thailand. And Adam helped me to contact Dr. Rasami from the Thailand Rice Department. And Dr. Rasami and Ms. Appington is IRRI officer in Thailand, in Bangkok, Thailand. They know each other. So Mr. Drilon introduced me to Dr. Sombon from Kansas University, and also I talked with some researchers at RISE department, and I went to Suphanburi to talk with the farmer family. So my objective is just to ask them like how they doing with their rice farming, and also what do you think about Thailand rice price blessing scheme. And this is I think it's very interesting. This is a book that Dr. Sompon gave us, and he gave me one copy for myself and one copy for IRRI's library. Harold is keeping that third copy, so I think he will remember to return to the library. Right? Yeah, so I think this is a very complete book on Thailand rice economy. So if any of you are interested in learning more about Thailand rice economy, you should take a look at this one. And one thing is so interesting because he is very, very pessimistic about Thailand's rice economy. And he said that it will be a disaster if the government insists on their rice price pricing scheme. And so, and I was very surprised. And I think a lot of you will be surprised when you hear this, because we think that they're very successful, and they will be still be very big rice exporter. But actually, the government fails to invest in more infrastructure, and it's more about very political and using this scheme to win more votes from the farmers. And also, this farmer family, they are smart farmers because they use organic inputs, and now their rice fields are more like it's not totally organic, but it's more organic, and also. They said that when they use more organic inputs, and they gain high yields and also less expensive. So it is very strict. I mean, somehow like we think, how to say, we think that we want more, and I mean even farmers they think that they add more fertilizer, and also that we have to boost yields. But this farmer they have support from the government in terms of the organic inputs, and they're using it, and they have very good good results. And also when I asked them, what if the government removes the price pricing scheme? So what you're gonna do with your farming? Will that affect you a lot? And he says, no, I think I can adapt. So I can reduce the input costs, and I can survive. So yeah, so it's not exactly what the politicians think, because they think that they use this price pricing scheme to win votes from them, but actually they don't care. But it does matter in the north of Thailand, but it doesn't matter in the central Thailand. So this brings me to my third thought that farmers are bad publicity, because sometimes less is more. There's always like we want more and we think that is good, but even sometimes that we cut back a subsidy and cut back inputs, that might be better. So that's all about my experience from traveling. So this is my second part, and I will talk about my research. And this is the paper that I presented at the international seminar organized by the Indonesian Center for Rice Research in Sukamandi just a few weeks ago. And it is our collaboration between Motalab, Sam, and Professor Rod Eric, research from North Carolina University. How do I say? Actually, the major point here is that we use natural disaster as experiment, and we use different methods to analyze the impact of the Isla cyclone on farmers coping. Bless you. Coping mechanism. Then the cyclone Isla happened in May 2009. And it is one of the biggest in the history of Bangladesh. And you all know that Bangladesh is a flood-prone country, very low-lying country. And it killed about 200 people or more, and about 4 million people were affected by this cyclone. Yeah, so a lot of damages. And so we use this this cyclone as a natural experiment because we have data from household survey data in 2005 and 2010. And this is the map about the affected areas in the triangle, in the rectangular, and that includes the Puna and Barisa district, and on the right hand side is a Chittagong is unaffected area. So I say that is a natural experiment setting, meaning that the probability of being hit by the cyclone is random. So you can see from the statistics since 1960 to 2010. So between Barisa, Puna, and Chittagong area, that means either affected districts and non-affected districts. So somehow we cannot tell when the cyclone will happen on which area. So under this assumption that we use the household survey data to compare. Before we move on, and I would like to explain a little bit about the difference here. I mean, for example, in the lower lines indicating petty area between 2000, 2005 and 2010, between affected districts and not affected districts, so they're almost the same. But comparing paddy production in 1,000 kilograms in 2000, 2005, they're almost the same, but in 2010, so after the cyclone in 2009, so there's a big difference between affected district and not affected district, and you can see it very clearly. So we use data, household income and expenditure survey data from Bangladesh government, and we chose the Barisa and Puna and one district from Chittagong as the treatment group, and the rest in Chittagong as the control group. The treatment group is the one that affected by the cyclone, and the control group is the one that are not affected by the cyclone. And in our data, we have 2,891 observations in the household level, and we have 323 districts with 3 years. And it is our model, the difference model. I think it's it's pretty straightforward, and we care more about B5 that is the effect of the cyclone in the cyclone affected districts compared with the non-affected districts. Yeah. And we also compare, we use a random effect audit and pool OS, fixed effect OS, but for the sake of brevity, so I just present our result on random effect audit regression, and this works the best on our model. And as I said, we care more about beta 5, so we see that the difference between the affected district and the non-affected district after the cyclone is negative. That means that affected districts, they have less on crop income. This is about 5,000 takas less in crop income, 7,000 takas less in pet income, 3,000 less on valuable pet consume. Yeah, and the other two are not significant but also negative. And the same when we run on non-food expenditure is negative but not significant. The total food expenditure is positive. That means that the affected districts, the households, they consume more food by maybe they bought more food from the market, but their non-food expenditure is negative, so they consume less on food. And this is very important because we see that the emission expenditure is also negative, education expenditure is also negative, and health expenditure increased about like 1,029 takas compared to the non-affected district. So this brings us to the conclusion that on average, the household in the cyclone affected area has lower bed income and also lower penny consumption than a household in a non-affected area. And they spend more on food and health expenditure. And this is important because we see that they spend less on their children's school admission and schooling on overall, and it is socially undesirable. Then we have some kind of policy implications that the government need to provide disaster loans and some kind of educational loans to support for natural disaster affected households. And this is about my continual work, and I would like actually at this time we are working on the AIDS models and the food system models for Vietnam, Philippines, and Bangladesh. We just at the starting point, and I hope that I will be engaged more in the IRRI global rights model in the future, because I worked with Haroon and Mel team last year on this. And I hope that my dissertation will be somehow related to IRRI or SSD research in the future. And I would like to thank you all for being here today and for your support. And I hope to see you all again soon. Thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, nice presentation. Any question from this? About that travel? Yeah.
Isn't it is already given once a area is affected by cyclone, definitely it will affect the economy.
I can understand again.
It's already given. What,
Cycle already given.
yeah, it's already given. You will get a lower. Everything will be lower if you get affected by cyclone.
Yeah. Can you answer? I don't
Why
know.
don't you choose other dependent variable?
So actually, I she
And
could not
non-dependent variable.
here she couldn't explain in detail, but I can tell you that cyclone is a very common phenomenon in Bangladesh, and particularly in the coastal area. So there are 3 coastal divisions in Bangladesh: Khulna, Borishal, and Chittagong. And in the slide, she showed that there is a probability of being hit by a cyclone is almost same among the, because out of 45 major cyclones that affected Bangladesh, 25 affected Chittagong and 19 affected Khulna and Borishal. In this setting, we got one cyclone. Meanwhile, actually I had data from 2000, 2005, and 2010. The cyclone affected in 2009. Of course, cyclone that reduces the production, but our major intention was to show how farmers behave with this loss. They said their crop income loss, and they also lose their paddy income. And we showed that they reduces their food consumption, but they increase food expenditure because they have to buy more rice from the market. And also their health expenditure increased because during the flood or during the cyclone, the major drinking water sources usually destroyed. And flood water contaminated the water, and waterborne diseases like diarrhea and dysentery is very common in Bangladesh. It's very common. So they have to spend more on health expenditure. But the striking thing is that they spend less on education, kids' education, and particularly on admission. You see from here, can you show the slide? And that is our major target, that this is not socially desirable. And what we should do, in this case, actually, government should give some kind of disaster loan. That's what we want to emphasize. Of course, it is given that if there is a natural disaster, there will be income loss. That is given, that is not. But how people behave to cope with the loss, that is our major target. And this is natural experiment setting. Yeah, please.
I agree with you that short-term effect would be reduction in the consumption or expenditure. But I think what's more interesting to know is whether the people in the affected areas are able to adapt, on a long-term basis. That's more like a short-term. The immediate reaction, of course, is reduce expenditure because you don't have income to dispose. But what about the long-term? In the short-term, we show that there's a reduction in the expenses for education. But how about in the long term?
Actually, our data cannot cover this one. And yeah, it would be great that if we had some long-term data, same household, and if we had panel data. Our data is not like this. Our section data, we somehow made it panel data. I mean, pulling across the time, and then we match the moja, and then we made it. Yeah, that can be great.
because I think that's basically what Orly is, wondering about, that the study for it to be, interesting or relevant, it has to, go farther than what is almost.
Here, actually, the message is very clear that even admission expenditure, you see from here, not related to school expenditure. Admission expenditure means I'm not sending my son to this school because I might use him for my field, to work with me, or maybe I'm not capable to send him in this school. So that's why admission expenditure also reduced in the short run. Long run, we don't have the data to see the same household how they cope with this thing. But this is also socially very undesirable. If I stop sending my kids this school, this is hampering human capital. So that's what we want to emphasize here.
Yeah, but I'm actually interested more in your activities in the future. So in your contribution, you mentioned that you intend to work on IRRI. Then what is the likelihood that you will work on that?
Oh, I think I think I started more with the modeling, so I would like to do some kind of projection for Vietnam, for example, or also like some other countries in Southeast Asia. So from now, I'm still interested in working in any Southeast Asia, and especially with the big four, the Thailand, either Thailand or Indonesia, back from Indonesia, Vietnam, now, or the Philippines. Yeah, because I think that would be very important for us to know more.
Yeah, I asked that because I believe eventually you will, it's a big help for us, especially in terms of updating our data regional.
Yeah, I think for really the dissertation with the focus on one country probably. I think and it's more. I have no idea which country I'm gonna work on. Yeah, I'm pretty open. Yeah, but it could be in Vietnam or any other country. But for Indonesia, I think it's really big. Actually, Indonesia is a very big country, so I'm not sure if we really can work on that.
And another thing is, how about table 6?
Table 6?
Could you please show
Okay.
table 6 again? Do you have table 6 or?
No, that's fine.
The one with okay. But yeah. The total food expenditure. I was wondering, are there bunch of zeros there in the observation?
Yeah, sure.
What is the word?
Zero.
Zero.
There are some zeros, right?
Where's that?
Total food expenditure.
It is in 1,000 takas.
Yeah, but across observations, were there a bunch of zeros?
Oh, you mean
Some zero
there are
expenditure?
some kind of food expenditure, zero food expenditures. I think there are some. Yeah.
There are some.
And that's why we end up with topic model.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah. That's why we use the big model. Yeah, to deal with sensory problem. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you find out how long it takes for them to recover?
Did I have to leave from what I
And also a follow through on what the government did to help them and to find out which approach helped them get over the disaster faster than others.
Can you show the picture, that highlighted picture? Frankly speaking, we don't have long-term data. This can be actually really a nice study if we could follow up with this data and then follow up, let's see how they behave. But and the second part is that the government activities, the picture, the highlighted. After 6 months of this cyclone, 50,000 of total people they displaced from the house and they could not enter their house because of still 6 months the water was there and they could not enter their house. Government actually did something during just after the cyclone. They just distributed some food, some saline, some salt, and some drinking water. That's it, and finish. Actually, there is not much big program to rehabilitate those people. And still today, this area is really vulnerable because this cyclone is destroyed a number of embankment and the dam, and that protected, previously they protected saline water to be entered, but now it is open, and still this area is so vulnerable. Not only Bangladesh, actually, this cyclone affected also India, partly, I mean, East India, that is West Bengal area. So, yeah, it would be really great if we could follow up those people. I need some funding. I mean, if someone, I'll be happy to do this. Thanks. Any more question, please?
Your question, Magdalene, this question is for you. I know, I'm aware that you will be estimating demand, maybe with, so maybe you should, put this as one of the variables, like the incidence of cyclone that could probably affect your demand for rice.
In the AIDS model? We can try. Yeah. Actually, I'm trying to include some kind of division dummy so that those 3 divisions actually they are hit by cyclone, so it will automatically capture those things. Yeah, we are planning to do that. Yeah, any more question to what? Not me, what?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
In every study in relation to climate change, they all mention health, food, and so forth. But for the economists like you, I think it is more interesting if you place like a cost or value. How much is the increase in health costs if there's a cyclone? So that will really make the policymakers more concerned that they should address health, particularly in relation to women. Because when areas are deeply submerged, women don't have, they're all exposed to these many diseases. So if you have this cost of health, medical, maybe you have it. It's just that in the conclusion you have to make it more, rather than saying that health education, because any paper has that. But it should reflect that you are the economists and who are capable of estimating that. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, frankly, in our model, we just have one dummy. That is, if household head is a male or female, that's dummy. That's a whole
I'm not
capture.
preparing that.
No,
I'm just saying that to estimate the
Okay.
cost,
Yeah,
the health costs.
yeah.
It's possible.
Yeah, because our paper is still under improvement, and we still discussing to improve it, and so I don't want to give any exact number.
Yeah. Also, I think cyclone only occurs in Bangladesh and some parts of India. So what are you going to use in other countries, except for, I mean, if you're going to measure the shock
So our
for
intention,
the model?
our intention was that actually we in the introduction part we mentioned that the temperature in the world in the climate change is really unprecedented. I mean, in the world, the temperature is increasing, and 1 to 4 degrees increase in temperature in the world, it will create more natural hazard like cyclone and flood and drought. And how to, I mean, address this issue? I mean, how farmer will behave to this natural disaster? That should be necessary to understand. Based on this natural phenomena, we just try to understand how farmers behave, particularly with this schooling, health, and food expenditure. That was our intention in this paper. Actually. So I think, in a sense, these findings of this paper can be generalized. The Philippines also one of the very cyclone-prone country. So,
If you
thank you.
that as frequent as Bangladesh.
Yeah. So, yeah, let's say if increase global climate change, number of cyclones will increase. So the findings will be more valuable in this case.
Do you have a question?
Yeah.
In the model, we also want to add an interaction variable. Since we use cyclone as a dummy, as it's just result, you can also you can put some index to categorize the typhoon, whether it's strong or mild. For example, in the previous we have this data on the maximum sustained winds, the amount of damage, or signal number. So in that case, you can have a variability in the effect of outside.
In this case, actually only one cyclone. So
Yeah.
so
Yeah, one cyclone, but across cyclones.
across the districts, right?
Yeah.
You want to
Across
take wind speed or
yeah.
I think it's possible.
So you mean we assume just one cyclone, but the effects are different across districts?
Yeah, maybe your cyclones are on state. They have the same effect.
Yeah, that's we assume like just
Yeah.
affected or not affected. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, you're right. But yeah, we can try. Whether we have data on this.
In your slide, you have used total number of districts, 323.
No, there is no district. She's wrong. That's union. In Bangladesh, total number of districts is 64. That is union. That is wrong.
No, I think it's the subgroup one, which is
That union.
oh yeah, you
Districts
Yeah.
are 64.
Yeah, that's unions.
Any more question to her?
Any more questions?
Why IRRI rice is bad and why Indonesia rice is good? Why don't you ask that?
Someone help me on this. You have any answer?
You have some cafeteria na.
Okay, just from my experience, I went to Indonesia and I feel like there's one family, they bought the cheapest rice from the market, but the rice tastes much better than IRRI's, the rice at the cafeteria.
The cafeteria just buys to another supplier.
Just to add to that, I heard from Dr. Paris that there is a Jollibee Vietnam already. Yeah,
Jollibee?
yeah. So she said that when she ate there, the rice tastes so good in Vietnam than the Jollibee in the Philippines.
Okay.
So yeah, there's a difference. Maybe it's more like yours is
Variety.
Japanese and ours is just
No, I think
Variety.
same because we eat
That's
Thailand,
Indo.
Vietnam. Thailand is much better, way more better. But Philippines and Vietnam and Indonesia, I think the rice is almost the same. And also taking into account that Indonesia and Philippines import rice from Vietnam, so I think. And it is I think the price is almost the same, about 30. It's like equivalent to 30 pesos per kilo, 30 something. It's pretty cheap. It's the cheapest one. So, and I hope that the rice at the cafeteria was better. It was better, but now.
Di yata sa
So decreasing quality.
supplier.
well, I don't know. Maybe it's because of the concession.
Sino ba nagsusupply sa kanila? Supply ko yung supplier of the rice.
Because before it used to be that IRRI
Rice
does
is the one they
cafeteria,
use.
but now there's an outside concessionaire.
They get it the
Yeah,
cheapest price and the
yeah.
cheapest at the lowest quality.
They buy from the
So
market.
they can gain. They can profit.
buy new varieties.
It's not,
Oh.
it's an adulterated variety.
Anyway, yeah. I hope it will be better though. Yeah. For me, I think because I don't mean that because we don't need to be very heavy fancy rice, but there's some
Knowing that it's IRRI, it should be.
yeah. It's because we put a lot of efforts to improve the
First
rice
impression
quality.
should be like that.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Last question.
Yeah.
You said that some of the policy implications are in terms of disaster management. What about policy implications for rice research?
Rice research.
So that has been dealt with by Bangladesh.
Yeah.
So what will be your policy implications in relation to rice research?
Flood tolerance rice.
Yeah.
There are no rice varieties which are tolerant to cyclones.
Plant listing actually. Yeah, ma'am, you are absolutely right. Cyclone tolerant you cannot take. So, let's say 270 in Bangladesh, the highest cyclone, the highest wind speed was 270 kilometers. In 1991, and it killed nearly 3,000 people, right, in Chittagong. 3,000 people instantly they died, and many people died later. But the major problem was in this area after cyclone, the seawater entered, penetrate many just inland. It's thousands of acres. And when they go down, then people cannot grow water. So saline tolerant water actually.
So I think
Saline tolerant.
in that way, maybe we should not focus more on the cyclone, because we just did a study in Odisha. The issue is the intrusion of the seawater in the rice fields,
Yeah.
and not much to focus on cyclone, because cyclone is an event which occurs only once in 5 years, but the intrusion of the seawater reduces the land for rice field, and therefore it affects livelihood. And also it is a year by year phenomenon that the farmers still grow rice, despite the fact that they lose. In fact, many of the people from Bangladesh have migrated to the Odisha because of the condition. But still, when they went to Odisha, they have the same kind of problem. So the solution will be salt tolerant
Saline
varieties,
tolerant.
saline tolerant.
Yeah.
But now there is no connection from the research and the
Odisha.
So now it is important to
Odisha.
because many of the researchers, that research done by Bari, are not really linked to those areas where this
You're right.
stresses are occurring.
But nowadays in Bangladesh, salinity tolerant rice they already developed, and some variety are there, but not much effective so far, to my knowledge. Yeah, that's right. We can talk about this.
Can I share something? I was listening to the weather forecaster recently, and there was this lesson in storm and something like that. So when a typhoon is originating from the Pacific Ocean, they call it a typhoon. But when it is originating in the Indian Ocean, it's called a cyclone. And it's originating in the Atlantic, it's called a hurricane.
Different definition, but same, almost the same.
You're right.
So,
Absolutely right. So that's why we use cyclone.
Cyclone. So the same.
Any question to her? Very difficult question? No?
any
Okay then.
difficult question?
Okay then. Yeah.
Important.
No more question? Only? Harold? Okay then. Then?
After Harold said after the ceremony.
Please repeat it. Okay, thank you very much for taking the participation.